Well, we're going to do some new things with our UV resin. We've got essential transparent little containers of these lots of different colors. We have some new open frame bezels and a closed frame, our first one, this wonderful owl. We've got some fun things to do. Okay, here's a peek, and here's another peek. We can get in really close just to give you a good peek, and I hope you will please come play with us. Okay, well, we're going to start with the transparent pigments, and they come in blue, yellow, red, brown, black, and white. Now, they are transparent, so they're see-through, and I was very curious about the red. I wanted to see, would it be really, really red? Well, as you can see, it is really, really red, and let me put this on white just so you can truly see. And what I was so pleased with is that it's red even from the first drop. So let me show you. Now I'm going to take, this is the flower bezel, and you can either use the UV resin, we now have it in a roll, as well as the squares. So whichever one suits your need. So cut off a piece or tear off a piece, and you're going to position this as you know, so that the circle, that little hook, is at the top. Press it down because we don't want any of the resin to escape. Now, you can take any type of a plastic cup, and I have to tell you, I'm finding that I save them. I really look for them. Nothing is going to be recycled until I do it with UV resin. Now, I use the container out of the Discovery Kit because that's what I started with. And I just refill it up. I bought the 500 milliliter, you know, there's other sizes, and I just refill this. So I'm going to put it into the container. And you don't need a ton, but you kind of get the feeling after you've done this a little bit how much. You can always mix more, and you can always put clear on top, so that's not a problem. Now with these, you need to shake them up, so you want to just do that before you use them at any time. And when you first use them, see the shaking? When you first use them, you need to snip off the tip because it's enclosed. So just want to give you those. The instructions are on the package. So let me just show you. So I'm going to put a couple of drops in here, just two. And I'm used to frosting where you put in red and you have to put in like half a container, and because you start with pink, but this starts with red. I was absolutely so pleased, and I have to tell you, I had so much fun creating the projects for this webisode. It was just a really fun evening, so I highly recommend it. So you can see, and you can see how translucent it is. Now, when you go to put it into a bezel like this that has these elevated images, in this case the flowers, you're going to drip it slowly into the center because you don't want to just gush a whole bunch because it has to kind of pool to the edges. So let me see if I can show you kind of camera angle and so forth. I'm just going to push it down. I've got my my little craft stick, and I'm just going to drop it. You know, I know you can't see that. You want to keep it away from the edges because you don't want it to get into the flowers because we're going to do something with those. And you just let it spread pretty slowly because it's going to take just a minute, and you don't want it to ooze over the top. I know you can't see that, but take my word for it, okay? And you can't hold it up, but you can see it's oozing out, and just let that happen. And then you can tell when it gets to the edges because those are open, and that will be, you know, the time to stop the dripping. But it is just not quite one drop at a time, but sort of, kind of. So just want to get a little bit more and let it spread as it's going to do. Now, I'm not going to fill it to the top You can do that afterwards, either with more of the red or you can do clear on top. But I just want to get this established so I can show you what to do with those flowers. Now this is just using the red, and just the red all by itself, and you saw, what did I use, 2 or 3 drops? So that little container is going to go a long way in our resin journey. Okay, looks like it's seeping to all of the edges, which pleases me. Then we're going to set it under the mighty lamp, and okay, and you see I've got a drop there, and let me grab a baby wipe just to get that up so that I don't kind of move it around on my craft mat. By the way, this is a craft mat. Very handy because it's going to keep everything in one location. So with it like this, then I'm going to take my Mighty Light, and you need to do this several times. So I'm not going to go through that multiple times. We will go off camera and take care of that for you. Okay, I know you can't really tell that that's really red on that blue tape, but it is, I promise. I'll show you in a minute. Now, as you can see, these flowers are recessed. They have debossed areas, and that means we can do something else with this. So I took the white opaque. Now this is not out of that collection of transparent pigments. This is the one that we've used multiple times. You only need literally a drop. And I'm going to put it on another tape because I want the shiny side toward me. And I'm just going to put, I'm going to put a bubble, and then I'm going to put a drop, literally a drop. Now I'm going to take a toothpick, and this is minorly labor intensive, but I'm just going to take a drop and put it into one of the petals. And again, as you know, the resin will spread, so we let that spread, and you just keep going around and let it spread. And you really want to keep the resin in the petals, so you don't want it to ooze or go anywhere else, but it will spread as you put this drop in. And so that's what you do. That makes sense? And you just do that all the way around. Then you put it again into the Mighty Light. The other thing you want to be sure to do is to do the light on the back side of the bezel. So that's, whoops, this has gone fuzzy. Okay, the camera kind of just does that. We'll play with it. Thank you, Jeanette. So again, you want to put the light on the back of the bezel too. So let me scoot these away and let me show you the completed piece, which looks like this. And I'm going to put it on white just so you can see how red it is. Okay, camera, stop going fuzzy. Okay, so there it is in red. Now, my granddaughter, as you know, she does this with me sometimes. She wanted to do a blue, but the blue in the pigments was a darker blue than she wanted. You can see how dark it is. So she added some of the white to it. Yes, you can change the shade. And so she did the blue. And I will tell you, at 11 years old, she did the drops of white into all of the flowers and was quite proud of herself. So that was really fun. Okay, so now you know you can do the red is really red, and you can change the shade. Those are two good things. Now, let's go into the leaves. This I thought is so pretty. And this, I decided to make it with brown. And there is a brown right here. And it started as a lighter brown. I will tell you, this probably has, maybe 4 drops in it to get to this kind of golden brown. You could go darker. I elected not to. But what I wanted to do with you is to make it into green, so to have a summer one. So let me get another piece of the resin tape. I'm just going to pull it off the roll. Same deal, keeping it toward me. And like that. Now, to do green, we're going to do blue and yellow, right? Everybody agree? You're going to go back to your elementary school with what colors. You can always Google them too, just to make sure. So I'm going to bring in another container and going to put in some more of this. Now it's going to be the same process that we did before, where we're going to let it kind of ooze and spread. And again, we don't want the resin to go up too high. Now, knowing that this is blue and yellow, it's just going to be a tad of blue. Now, yes, we have used blue because Penelope used a little bit. So I'm just going to put a drop in it. Drop, one drop. Then I'm going to put more of the yellow. So the only ones I didn't end up using was the black. So that would be something to experiment with. So I'm going to put in several drops of the yellow. Now I haven't done this before. I don't know why I decided to do it first on camera, but we will see. Ooh, pretty. It's a very spring green, isn't it? That is exactly what I wanted. I feel very clever, and it's here on camera. Okay, let me put the lid back on. So you've got a ton left, which is really kind of fun, and you can do lots of things with this. Okay, this is going to be the same deal. I'm not going to run you through the whole process, but we'll just pour it in. It is drop by drop. I wish I had a better camera angle for you, but it is just the same deal that we did, and it's just going to drop in. You know what? I think I'm going to just let it pool in. It's the same deal. Just all of this is just be patient with it. Just let it go drop by dear drop, and it will do exactly what you want it to do, which isn't that nice. Now I do confess that I tried putting some of the white opaque into the leaves after it had cured, after I had resin in it, and it didn't work because it's not deep enough an area, and it's not a debossed area. It's an empty area, and it didn't work. But you know, maybe you'll find a way that it will work. So that would be fun too. If you do, let me know, okay? Okay, so I'm just letting this go, and you can tell right now by the fact that this is so green that the coloring really works nicely. Okay, we're just letting it seep in. So we have done the colors all by themselves. We've made them a lighter shade, and we've also changed the color totally. So that's kind of neat. Now I'm going to cure this and cure it on the front and on the back, but you can see the green. Now another one I wanted to show you, this is the butterfly. Now the butterfly is another piece. Can we get in closer, maybe, without it going crazy? We'll see. So I made this orange because I thought, you know, why not? And of course, this is a drop of red and more drops of yellow. I think there were like 10 drops. So it did get to the orange. And like I said, you want to, and you can see the difference between the orange and the brown. So that's kind of a honey brown. This is an orange. There's our red. So we can do lots of things, which is very neat. Now the butterflies are solid, so you're not going to be able to do any of the white with it, I believe. And really fun. So that's just really neat. Okay, now remember the owl I showed you at the beginning? Well, we've got some things to do with the owl. Now we're going to do some new things. So this is the watch parts, and I am thrilled with how many pieces you get in this wonderful container. Number one, I love the container because it's going to keep them. but there are a ton in here. Now, to use them, I'm going to need my needle nose pliers because that's going to help me, move them about. The other thing, so when I got this and started playing, so let me just show you what I did. I just put a bunch of, yeah, that didn't work. Okay, just put some of these in my little owl. And I thought that was okay. I wasn't sure how many I wanted. I think I wanted fewer, quite honestly, so you could really see them. So, but I don't know. I just didn't think it quite gelled together. So I was looking for a background for it rather than the bronze, and found this set of inclusions. Now these are fine glitter inclusions. There is a holographic, that's a holographic, there's white, there's gold, copper, black, and silver. So very pretty. I elected to use the silver. One nice thing that I do when I start playing with these is, okay, do I want it to go on black? Do I want to do copper? What do I want? And I can play with it that way. Actually, the black is kind of neat, isn't it? So let me just tap these, get those off. So anyway, this again, you're not going to use very much. In fact, the bezel is very narrow. So you're going to use hardly any resin at all, which is kind of neat. So I'm going to duplicate what I did, and I took another container, and yes, you do go through these, and I'm going to put in my clear resin, my UV resin, and again, it's just a little bit. So let me show you. The other thing that the resin does, besides making a beautiful background, is it will hold the watch pieces in place. And this is a little bit like what we did when we were doing the beach pieces and using those inclusions. Okay, so I have this, and I'm going to get my craft stick. One thing I haven't done is I haven't used the flame. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I'll show that to you in just a minute. Okay, so we've got this. Because I've opened this up, I don't have to remove the tape. And you don't need much. You just really don't. So I'm just going to tap a little bit in there. And that's really kind of true with all of the resin that I've found, is that you just don't need much of the inclusions. They just do a really nice job of adding sparkle, adding whatever you like. Okay, so there you go. Just stir it up a bit. Now I'm going to put this directly into his belly. While I don't necessarily need to put him on the tape because he doesn't have an opening, what I do find is that it's easier to move them around when they're on the tape. So I do that all the time. So there we go. And you don't have to worry about where you place him, just to get him on there. But it's just easier to move him about and to manipulate him. Okay, so here we go. We've got the silver in there. And again, you can see there isn't much. And I'm just going to bring that into his belly. And you can kind of see how that's puddling up. And I will get my toothpick, which I didn't use on the first ones, and make sure that I get this to the edges. And I kind of have a little bit too much there. We'll see how this, it does spread, it does reduce in size a little bit, but you do want to make sure it gets to all the edges. Now, if you wanted to remove any, I would assume that you could do this toothpick by toothpick. But isn't that pretty? I hope you can see that. So it just, and this is deeply embossed, by the way. I mean, you can really see the highs and lows of that sweet owl. And okay, so I'm going to leave him there. And I'm going to use my needle nose tweezers to place the pieces. And what I found is I like to get the larger pieces, a couple of them. And I've got this off camera, so let me bring this in. So I've just scooped out a few of these, just drop them in. And then I'm going to go back and add some of the little ones. So, and you can just, just do as you want. The tweezers work really nicely. At first I thought maybe I would just have them kind of in a half shape, kind of half moon, but then I realized that, I just really liked moving them about and having them all over his belly. The big ones on the bottom, the little ones more on top. There's no right or wrong to this. And you can play with the putting them on top of each other. And you can go back in here and find the ones that are different, which is kind of neat. And it's just like that. Now, you're going to, of course, mighty light it. And when you do that, it's going to take several times. It just seems to do that. If you have room in the opening, you can put clear on top. So let me scoot this away while it is doing its curing, and let me show you the one that I finished. And I did go back and add some resin on top, so that was fun. I hope you like it. I'm really happy. Very steampunk look, and I think you can do the same thing with any of the bezels. We will be having more closed bezels as we move along. The other thing I did with the owl is using the feather inclusions. Okay, so here they are. Now, something I found, as wonderful as these tweezers are, and they are indeed wonderful, it was a little tricky to pick these up and turn them over. So what I found is that this is a jewel picker. Now, if you are a crafter, you probably know about this, but it has a sticky end on each end. One is larger. This one is larger than that one, okay? And you can simply pick these up so much easier. There you go. And you can turn them over, because you want to have them curved. And so that works really, really well. If you sit and play with it with your tweezers and then you get the jewel picker, you will be very happy. So you can see that that's curving. So you just choose. Now I just did 3 on each side, kind of like his wings coming in. Again, you want to put the clear resin down first, then put the feathers, then cure it. Then I put a second layer on top, and you can see it's kind of domed that way. So that's my offering for you today. Very fun. I hope you enjoyed it. So just to recap, we are doing owls, we are doing leaves, we have butterflies, we have flowers, we have the transparent pigments that you can play with and do all sorts of wonderful things, as well as these feather inclusions. So those are all the new things that we're working with. Also, that jewel picker is brand new. So I hope you have enjoyed this. Let me bring back the finished pieces, because that's so much fun. And I do appreciate your watching. I love to hear your comments if you are enjoying this. I know some of you have said that you've given gifts of kits to your family members, and that's really fun. I hope they're enjoying it. And I forgot about the watch parts. Those are new too. Okay, if you are watching this on YouTube, I hope that you will like us, that you will subscribe, and head on over to paperwishes.com. I put all of the new things into a money saver. It's on the right side of your screen, and yes, there is a discounted price. If you are watching us on paperwishes.com, again, you've got that same money saver that is available to you. I want to thank Penelope for letting me take her flower piece, and I want to thank you for watching us. And next month, we'll have something brand new with our UV Resin series. And thanks for being part of our Paper Wishes family. Bye-bye.